Hi guys, and welcome to Escape with Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the San Martin SN0139. I received this watch for free. I don't have to send the watch back, but no matter how I get a watch in on this channel, you're always going to get my honest opinion every single time. And if by the end of this review you do want to pick one of these up, I'll be leaving a link down in the video description. This is, I believe, a Watch Dives and San Martin collaboration, so this is only available on watchdives.com, so go there and check it out. The current retail price for this watch, they listed it as $200 US. However, it's been on sale for right around $160 on the bracelet. You can use my code right here, escape10, for $10 off your purchase. You can also save $10 by opting for the FKM rubber strap. But I'd probably just get the bracelet because it's actually pretty darn good. The watch comes in 3 different colorways that you can see here. I think they all look pretty good. I went for the monochrome colorway. Actually, Watch Dive, they just sent me this watch. I didn't even know this one was coming. It just kind of showed up in the mail one day. So, yeah, this is the one that I got, and this is probably the one that I would go for. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire bezel, ceramic bezel insert, a screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 200 meters of claimed water resistance, Swiss Superluminova on the bezel, the dial, and the hands, and the watch is powered by the Seiko NH35 automatic movement. So this is going to be a pretty quick review. I reviewed the San Martin SN0007G. I'll leave the link up here for it. A few months back, I called it the best dive watch that you can get for under $150. Well, the good news is that this can be also considered in that award. It shares nearly everything with the SN0007, just a couple changes to the dial and the bezel and the case, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. So if you want to see like a more in-depth review of this watch, minding the dial differences, you can go check out that, like I said earlier. But I say we get right into this review now. Before we do a quick wrist check today. Still in the honeymoon phase with my Seamaster Professional. Just got this bracelet. This is the Forstner bullet bracelet, and I think it looks absolutely incredible on it. And yeah, I've been enjoying this watch a lot lately. So like I mentioned earlier, the dimensions are about the same. I'll pop them up here on the side, but it's a 40 millimeter diver, 48 lug to lug, 13.1 thick, and it weighs about 160 grams on the bracelet. So it's a big, chunky, heavy dive watch. You can see here the case, again, identical to before. They did brush the sides here, so that's nice to see. The previous one had polishing on the sides, but everything is done very nice. You got nice turn down to the lugs there. The bottom edge here, a little bit sharp, but it stays off the wrist, so it's not really that big of a deal. Really nice, consistent, circular brushing on the top of the case there. The watch just looks excellent. The back side here, unchanged from before, simple notches to get a tool in there. So yeah, I can tell you the case is great. It's a pretty chunky dive watch, but it wears really good and very comfortable on the wrist. So I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on the wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5-inch wrist, and as you can see, it wears great on me. I got no real complaints with it. Curve down on the lugs hugs my wrist very nicely. Yeah, it just looks like a really good tool watch, mostly brushed, but plenty of shine off of the ceramic bezel, matte dial, super easy to read, and I think it looks good. And here we are quickly in some other lighting. You can see here it is just a plain matte dial. There's no sunburst or anything like that. And here we are on a cut to size FKM. This one is in green. I'm going to throw some colors at this watch because it's just a monochrome watch, so it's going to look good on pretty much anything. And here we are on kind of a pastel mint color. These straps again are awesome. The ducks approve, as you can hear. Yeah, these things, I'll list this one down below as kind of the pastel colors, but they come in pretty much any color you can get now, and they are awesome. And here we are on a nylon single pass strap, so one layer underneath the watch there, as you can see, still sitting pretty nice. The clearance between the lugs and the spring bars for pass-through straps, it's going to be pretty tight, so just keep that in mind. But as you can see, I still was able to get this normal thickness one through without too much of a problem. So, but any thicker than this one, it's going to probably be a no-go. And lastly, here we are on a Bond nylon style strap, 2 layers underneath, but they're pretty thin, so it still wears really good, and obviously it looks good. But all right, let's go back inside and let's get back to this review. All right, so talking about the things that are really good about the watch and that have not changed. I mentioned the case already. That has not changed. The bezel action has not changed, and it is absolutely fantastic. One of the best bezels I've ever come across, irregardless of the price. It is just perfectly crispy and tactile. Resistance is excellent. The grip on the coin edge bezel is excellent. The bezel insert, that is still ceramic, so that's nice to see. They did change the font, and this loom pip here is a circle on the previous one. The font has changed, like I said. They filled this with white paint instead of that silver paint that kind of flaked off on my model. So yeah, I think this bezel insert is actually going to be better. The bezel action, like I said, unchanged. Just listen to that. 120 click, unidirectional, super loud, but super crisp and tactile. It's just a perfect bezel. There's no play in it at all, and the alignment is just spot on. You can just hear how loud that is, though. I mean, it is really, really loud. But very good bezel. The bracelet also unchanged, 3-link, solid link. You do have a pin and collar, which is kind of a bummer on this one. Thankfully, that's one of the things you do it once and you don't have to worry about it again. But the links, it's a 20 millimeter bracelet, tapers down to 18 millimeters at the clasp. Really solid, really heavy. You can see the tolerances in here, really nice and tight. So there's not much rattle to it. It's got a lot of heft to it. The end link fitment is excellent as well. They're male end links and they don't really drop down. So yeah, it's just something to note. I don't really feel like it affects the wearability of the watch, though. Even for your smaller wrists, it's gonna just kind of drape straight down over your wrist. So yeah, just something to note. But yeah, the bracelet is good, fluidity is good. This bottom edge, it's not overly sharp or anything like that, and the clasp unchanged from before. This is not an on the fly clasp, as you can see there. It's just a simple micro adjustment clasp. This is their old style one and the stuff they put on their budget models. It's a very solid, heavy gauge clasp, and it feels great. I've got zero issues with these clasps. As long as you know that it's not a on the fly system, it's a really good one. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that has not changed. The crystal hasn't changed either. It's a clear and a reflective sapphire crystal. But the only thing that has changed on the case, like I mentioned, they brushed the sides of the case there. They look really, really good before they were polished. So that's a bonus in my opinion. Screw down crown, signed. Nice crown action, no issues there. So the only thing that's really changed is the dial on this one. So before we had the applied indices and the 62 mass style of hands and indices. This one here, we just have a matte black dial there, looking really, really good. Printed dial. So you have the even numerals there and then batons for everything else. No date window, so there is a ghost date position. Simple printed San Martin hex logo there. The hands. The loom on the watch is actually pretty good still too. It's not as good as the previous one, but I will say the loom is actually pretty darn good. So I'm popping up a loom shot here. You can see it against a couple other watches in the collection, and it holds its own. So I've got no real complaints with that either. This one has been running really well. The NH35 inside has been running really well for me, plus 5 seconds a day. So there's again not a whole lot to complain about with this watch. I just wanted to get it on camera for you guys, kind of show it off a little bit. It's very similar to the SN0139, just a little bit different design. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to complain about on this one. I do like this little hex logo for the lollipop on the second hand. That's something that took me a little while to realize, and but it's kind of a nice little touch there. It looks pretty cool. So if you are in the market for a diver in that $150 range, this is going to be really hard to beat. That's all I'm saying. This is one of those watches where there's not a whole lot of corners that they cut. I'd say the pin and collar bracelet is the main one, but that's pretty much it. So besides that, you're getting a very solid, reliable, accurate watch that looks really good. It's just a solid watch overall. So quick little review for you guys. Just wanted to get it on camera, but I think that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.